let's go across to Jammu and Kashmir. What's happening on the ground? This is about J&K, which is now a union territory, and what happens next here on. A lot will depend on what the Supreme Court decides. First, introducing my colleagues, Kamaljit Sandu is in Jammu. And also, Ashra Vanani is in Srinagar joining me with the latest in that. Both of you, stay on with me because let's go across to Kamaljit first. Kamaljit, I assume you're with a group of morning walkers this morning in Jammu. It's a nice winter morning in J&K. What is the mood like for Jammu? Because I know Jammu was one part of J&K that had considerably been hopeful that they'll get an equal representation. They wanted to support this. What are they expecting today with the verdict?
Well, two historic days. One was 5th August 2019. You and I were reporting. And today again, December 11th, which is 2023. And yes, there is immense reaction coming in from Jammu and Kashmir. We are in Jammu area. And yes, you're right. These are morning walkers, mostly senior citizens. We'll just have a word with them. A bunch of petitions went, sir. इतने लोग ने जाके challenge किया. लेकिन आप यहाँ के जो वासी हैं, किस तरह से महसूस करते हैं इस पूरे मुद्दे को लेकर?
देखिए दफा 370 हमने तो शुक्र किया दफा हुई and it should not come back. So if Supreme Court people are intelligent enough, they should reject it. They should reject the verdict. I mean, they should uphold the removal of Article 370.
आप कह रहे थे आप खुद वहाँ से आए हैं कश्मीर से?
हाँ जी. जिस तन लागे सोई तन जाने, कोई क्या जाने पीर पर आई. हमने क्या भुगता हुआ वहाँ पे जिस माहौल में मैं ही जानता हूँ, मेरा भगवान जानता है.
Let's try and get more reactions. Sir, do tell us. I mean, so many political parties, more than 20 petitioners went to Supreme Court, and today is a big day. And obviously, there is one about the legality, whether the Parliament has that power to abrogate Article 370 when there's no Constituent Assembly. The other is obviously about how the state was downgraded to union territory. आप लोगों को भी लगता है कि एक राज्य को यूनियन टेरिटरी बना दिया गया, आप लोगों के राइट्स, उसके ऊपर क्या कहना है आपका?
देखिए, ये जो डाउनग्रेड वाली बात जो आपने की है, ये डिसाइडेडली ठीक नहीं है. स्टेट को ये फर्स्ट टाइम ये हुआ है, पर अगर आप पर्सपेक्टिव देखें और क्यों किया, वो बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. क्यों इम्पोर्टेंट है? अगर स्टेट रहती है तो जो स्टेट के सब्जेक्ट्स होते हैं वो स्टेट के लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली को कॉम्पिटेंट होती है. अब जैसे
अगर माना जाए यहाँ पे लोग 370 के एब्रोगेशन को ठीक मानते हैं, लेकिन आप कहते हैं कि डाउनग्रेड नहीं करना चाहिए.
नहीं, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा नहीं करना चाहिए. मैं कह रहा हूँ स्कीम ऑफ थिंग्स में डाउनग्रेड करना जरूरी था. जो कश्मीर के हालात थे और जो कश्मीर के 4 सालों में कंट्रोल किया है, ये इसी का कारण है कि जो उन्होंने इसको यूटी बनाया और सारा कंट्रोल सेंटर ने और एमएच ने रखा. अदरवाइज ये जो मिलिटेंसी वहाँ 30 साल से चल रही थी, हमने भुगती है. वी वर पार्ट ऑफ दैट गवर्नमेंट के उस समय हम हैंडल करते थे. कितना पावरफुल और कितना ड्रेडफुल था वो सिस्टम.
सर आप बताइए, आप यहाँ के बाशिंदे हैं. So do tell us what is a larger view.
सर, बट जंडियाल साहब ने जो बोला है ना कि भाई आर्टिकल 370 को उन्होंने जैसे भी हटाया है, इट वाज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट जॉब. And what has been happening here was the terrorism was increasing day by day, and this stone pelleting and everything. Suddenly, one day when we saw that there was so much of a shift of the army to Srinagar, I think something is going to happen. And this was the real step taken by the government. And it had to cool down, and it is now, after 4 years, we are seeing things are improving. Let's see what happens.
The matter is also before the apex court. What do you think really should happen? Because obviously it's
this is a decision. This is a decision by the judges. I cannot predict on this thing, but I think they will understand where we stand, and they will understand that Jammu people what they want actually.
So that's the word really coming in. All of them obviously voicing their opinion, and that's how the reaction is really coming in from Jammu.
Interesting.
This side.
All right, Kamaljit Sandu will through the morning continue to get us all the reactions, and what she's got are largely what people of Jammu had felt over the years, and they believe that the change could actually help the people of Jammu specifically. At this time, they have felt that they have been discriminated for a long time, and perhaps that change could help them, and that, of course, with concerns as much for the residents of Jammu. Kamaljit, stay on with me. Let's go across to the Kashmir Valley. Ashra Vanani, who was reporting on 5th August, now joining me on the 10th of December in 2023. Ashraf, there was a lot of shock when this decision was taken then in the Kashmir Valley. There was a lot of concern as well. A lot has changed in the past 4 years. Do you think, can we say today, that the Kashmiris would be glued in to the television screens waiting to see what the verdict will be?
Absolutely, Pooja. Basically, there are all eyes on the verdict today on the Supreme Court, not only of the common people here in the Kashmir Valley, but also the all major regional political parties who have filed this PIL in the Supreme Court. They are among those petitioners in the Supreme Court. They have reacted that they are eagerly waiting for the verdict of the Supreme Court and are hopeful. But one thing was clear on 5th of August 2019 as well as today, the mood and the reactions are different from Jammu in Kashmir. We have seen, you reported on 5th of August 2019 how the people in the Jammu region celebrated the abrogation of Article 370. But in the Kashmir Valley, the people were then also upset and are even today more hopeful that probably there will be some ray of hope from the verdict of Supreme Court. That is not only hope from the people but also from the political parties. It is very important verdict. That is why the security arrangements as well as other arrangements had been put in place so that there could not be any kind of untoward across the Kashmir Valley. We have seen that on each and every day there is movement of security forces, convoys from Srinagar to Jammu, Jammu to Srinagar. Today they have been halted because the administration as well as the police and security agencies did not want any kind of problem in the law and order. That is why these measures had been taken. Even there are the reports that probably when the verdict come, there are eyes on that also from the administration, that probably there will be the speeding of internet will be lowered so that there could not be any kind of mongering among the masses in the Kashmir.
That's also important, and so Ashraf is telling us significantly about some of the precautionary measures that have been ensured, that while there shouldn't be any sort of rumour mongering today, and that importantly remember, as Ashra Vanani and Kamaljit Sandu continue to get us voices and perspective from J&K, the fact remains, and we cannot speculate on the court decision, but it should be about peace and people that the focus must be. Ashra Vanani and Kamaljit Sandu will continue to be with us through the latest on that. Remember, at this juncture, what's significant is also the legal perspective. Anisha Mehta continues to be with us. Anisha, tell us what the petitioners had said and what the government had said. Taking you a little back with regard to how the viewer must also know what sort of a hearing happened. It was live streamed. There were a lot of discussions that were very important. There were a lot of high-tempered discussions that had taken place as well. A lot of important questions were asked by the Chief Justice of India, by the 5-judge bench. Take us through that background, Anisha.
There were 23 petitions in total in this case, some of which have been pending since 2014, where a group of petitioners had sought abrogation of Article 370 as well as Article 35 of the then Kashmir Constitution on the grounds that it discriminates against the women, the Kashmiri women who are married outside of Kashmir. More importantly, it also discriminates against persons who've immigrated into Kashmir after 1950. That were the arguments raised by them, that constitutional principles of equality have been violated. The government, of course, in its arguments had said that Article 370 in itself contains provisions that allow for abrogation and was never meant to be a permanent provision. On the other hand, of course, the petitions which have challenged the abrogation of Article 370, most notably the petitions filed by the political persons from Jammu Kashmir, including the J&K People's Party, and Sajad Lone and others, who have said that the will of the people of Kashmir was not taken into account, which is a violation of basic constitutional principles. And at the same time, a state cannot arbitrarily be turned into a union territory, which is a violation of the federalism principle in the constitution. Now, the big question is going to be, how is the court going to balance all of these conflicting arguments, and what will be the future of Jammu and Kashmir? Especially since you remember, the court itself had questioned why there were no elections in Jammu Kashmir for a long period of time, and what would be the status of the assembly now.
Unlikely the elections will happen as and when the situation is more feasible, but it's already also been about 4 years, so there is that valid question, but also the fact that a lot has changed in the past few years in J&K.